Times are getting crazy, and everything seems hazy. Is there some place for safety I can go? Run away into your escape. Run away, you're never too far to run. Run away into your escape. Run away. It gets so loud that I can barely hear. But your words speak much louder than all my fears.
Welcome to Foresight. My name is Dr. Nat J. Fuller. A chat box is a computer program designed to simulate conversations with human users. They are typically powered by artificial intelligence algorithms that enable them to understand natural language input from users and to generate appropriate responses. They can be used for various purposes, including customer service, information retrieval, task automation, and entertainment. They come in multiple forms, from simple rule-based systems to sophisticated AI-driven models capable of learning and adapting to user interaction over time. They can be deployed on messaging platforms, websites, mobile applications, and other digital channels to engage users in conversational interactions. To dig a little deeper into this AI technology, I have Miss Jenny Zhang, also known as Jay-Z. Jay-Z is an AI product growth leader who enjoys rapping about AI. Welcome to Foresight, Jay-Z.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nat.
I am so happy that you're on. Love your glasses, and I want to talk more about them. But first, tell us a little bit about your background, your experience, things like that.
Please call me JZ.AI. I just rebranded with these glasses.
That is awesome. That's great.
And I'm a product and growth leader, like you said. I've launched over 10 AI products, websites, apps for Fortune 500,
Sure.
small and medium businesses, but also my own products that I've founded.
That is awesome. That is great. And you're from Stanford.
Yes. Went to Stanford undergrad and heavily into design thinking as a process for companies to figure out where to start with AI as well.
Awesome. Well, great. Hey, Jay-Z, it is a pleasure having you on the show, and let's dig into it. So you're going to talk a little bit and demo a little bit about the chat box technology that you developed, correct?
Absolutely.
All right, awesome. Let's see it.
And we're going to make one too.
Oh, awesome. I got plenty of questions.
All right. Can you see my screen?
I can.
Okay. Great. So this is a chatbot that I built for myself. It's called Ask Creator. And this is on the paid version of ChatGPT. It's $20 a month.
Gotcha.
And the way that I interact with it is you can ask these 4 main questions. These are questions that I've prompted and
Sure.
I know what the answer is going to be. And if you ask a question that's out of bounds, like not within these 4 topics,
Right.
it's gonna pull from the broader ChatGPT corpus and model.
Gotcha.
If we were on an enterprise plan, it wouldn't, but this is
Right.
on the regular plan. So which question do you want to ask? You can pick one of these or throw out a more challenging question that I can type in.
Okay. How do you monetize my content?
Oh, okay. Great.
That's awesome. Start by selling product service first. Your step is to directly earn from content by guiding audience toward a specific call to action.
Yeah, what do you think? Is that helpful? Do you have any questions?
No, I think that's great. So like, I guess when you built this, if I was just like a novice user, right, person who didn't have a bunch of, computer science background or a bunch of, just hands-on experience, would you say that it was pretty simple to create this particular product in this particular, platform?
Oh yeah, I think anyone could do it within like an hour.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's see. I wonder if we can edit it right now. The easiest thing might be just to create a new one.
Right.
Let's create a new one.
Okay.
Okay. So here in my account, I can go to my GPTs and create a GPT. So here you'll see these two tabs, create and configure.
Gotcha.
The create is very high level, like, it's very simplistic, but the configure is really where you get into the detail.
Sure.
But let's create the high level part. What will the chatbot be called, or what will it do? So I think you sent me this,
Yeah, list of questions.
Yeah, which is it like, the chatbot will help me determine what to sell?
Right.
Okay.
So I think with this one, the first one was toys or coffee. It could be either one though, right? I'm assuming it can be really tied to a specific type of device or like a type of product, right? Like either toys or coffee.
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
like make a business recommender for entrepreneurs, to help entrepreneurs decide if they should sell toys or coffee
Gotcha.
domestically or internationally.
Internationally. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
What do you want to call it? Like what to sell or?
Yeah, let's call it what to sell. Let's keep it really generic. So it's updating GPT.
Mm-hmm. And this is all real time, so of course, something's going to go wrong, but, cross our
course.
fingers.
Of course.
And that's great because, in videos, when they make it look like everything goes right and then
Right.
things go wrong, you never know how to fix it. So this,
Yeah.
we'll do that.
Well, here's the thing, Jay-Z. We're real technologists, right? We don't fake it, right? We expect these type of things to happen, in real time, so we can fix them in real time. Like, oh, those guys really know what they're doing. So,
Spot on. Okay.
all right. So let's see, GPT builder. How about the name? What to sell? Your GPT, does that sound good to you? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Oh, so it's actually generating your profile picture, which will go
Right.
in this cube. And it did not like it was more difficult for me to upload because it wants
Sure.
you to use Dolly and like all the image
Right.
generation.
All the
that's
images are there.
integrated.
Right, exactly. So, and that's actually interesting also to, if your picture for whatever reason is corrupt, or you can't, or let's say you forgot to upload it or whatever into this particular platform, it will just use a set of, I'm assuming a set of stock images that are already embedded into the platform. So it basically will give you something. It may not be your same image, but it'll give you something relative to what your particular customization is about. Is that fair?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think we should test it
Okay.
do you, I don't think it'll give like a dummy image. It'll make you upload something that's on brand. So do you like this image, or would you have some words? You do?
No,
okay.
No, I do like that image. Yeah, that was the geek side of me coming out of my, body there, JC. So it's like I asked that question only because I'm thinking, if I were to upload a picture and for whatever reason the picture was corrupt or didn't work, could I use like maybe stock pictures or whatever? But it sounds like it gives you options to be flexible. So
yes, you're right.
All right, cool.
Okay, so we like it.
So I like the picture. So now to start, how detailed do you want your analysis to be when recommending whether or not to sell toys or coffee, domestically or internationally? Should it include market trends? Yes, it should include all of that. What do you think?
Absolutely. So this is going to be different when you are on the enterprise plan. A lot of times on the enterprise plan, you only want to include your knowledge. You do not want to include like the rest of everything that's out there. Right. But I think for a lead generation tool, it's great to include all the other knowledge that's out there.
Right.
So
sure.
Yes.
Yeah, and let me ask this question too, just from a business perspective. So, if I'm a small business and I am doing work domestically, and I decide, hey, I really want to broaden myself. I want to go international, right? I want to look in some international markets. From a business perspective, you're recommending that we be broad in terms of how this particular algorithm is being built, right? We wanted to not only tap into domestic content, but also international content, right? Is that a safe assumption?
Yes. So yes, and you wanted to define the difference between your advice and the generic advice. So some enterprises, they're like, I only want to define my advice because the generic stuff is terrible, but I think the best plan is like to show both, like, oh, here's the generic, but I'm adding additional value to save you time. And when you merge those two things together for the client, it's really helpful so that they can make a decision if they want the generic or they want your secret sauce.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Okay. Do you want to read this next part, or do you want me to read it?
Yeah, so let's see. Now that we've established a detailed analysis approach, let's discuss how or what to sell should interact with users. Should it ask users for specific information about their current situation, preference to recommendations, or would you prefer a more straightforward Q&A style? I think it would be good to ask them about their current situation, right? What do you think?
I think so too, because, with design thinking, it's all about redefining the problem.
Right.
And so a lot of users are just like, give me the information. They don't actually have the right goal or problem that they're going after. So maybe I'll ask you a question. Do you think these users are like, I just want to get it and go, like Starbucks? Or do you think they're here to learn a different way or be more strategic?
Great question. I think I think their aspect, or what I think anyone would want to think about, is more strategic way of thinking about it, right? So understanding their actual current situation for their users, right? To really understand where that is, and then create strategic reasoning behind that. So I think understanding the current situation is probably the best choice here.
Okay, great. So we'll ask them, because they don't know what they don't know. Like, they're open to new ideas.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Perfect. So what to sell? We'll now ask for specific information to offer personalized recommendations. How would you like what to sell to present its findings? Should it give a direct recommendation or present the pros and cons of each option, allowing users to make the final decision? That's awesome. I would say a direct recommendation would be good here, only because I think people want to get straight to the answer, right? They want to understand exactly what I should do, or or present me with something for me to then make a decision on whether or not I want to do it or whether or not I, want to maybe choose another option. So yeah, I think direct recommendation is pretty good here. So
Yeah, you're right, because people don't want to be asked a ton of questions before they see the value. It's like a balance. So
Right.
we'll go with direct recommendation. And as it's building, we've both built software, and in the past I would have built like check boxes, like, do you want it to give direct recommendation or present the
Right.
pros and cons? And this is much more conversational. It feels like organic.
Right, exactly. Okay, I've refined what to sell to provide direct recommendations based on detailed market analysis and user provided information. Would you like to adjust how what to sell communicates these recommendations? For example, should it use a formal tone or be conversational and encouraging? Oh, wow. So you know what? I don't know about you. I don't know about you, Jay-Z, but I think encouraging and conversational is really needed in the world today, with all the negativity that we hear sometimes. So I love hearing encouraging things. What about you?
Oh, absolutely. Because if this customer is like heavily regulated, like finance or legal, they probably want something professional they could
Right.
paste into like a legal document. But, sellers are usually much more unregulated and conversational and encouraging.
Yeah, totally agree. All right. I've adjusted what to sell to communicate his recommendations and conversational, encouraging tone. All right. So that's been taken care of. Now we've tailored the behavior of what to sell. Feel free to test it out and preview on the right. And I'm here listening to any refinements you have. How does it look? Okay. I think it looks exactly what we wanted, right? The logo's there, business recommender for choosing between toys and coffee. Domestic or international markets, should I sell toys or coffee? Pros and cons of selling toys, benefits of selling coffee internationally. All right, awesome.
Do you want to ask it one of these questions?
Yeah, let's see, domestic or international market?
So it's interesting because we told it to give a direct recommendation, but now it's
Exactly.
giving us pros and cons.
I know, exactly. So I wonder, you know what? I wonder, that's interesting. I wonder if it's just a lot of great information for pros and cons. So it was almost like, yeah, I know you want a direct recommendation. Well, here's the recommendations right there, though, right? For startups, and I imagine because there's so many use cases here, right? There's startups, there's established companies, there's, bigger companies, there's smaller companies, there's mid-size type companies. So it's like, it would be, I would imagine it would be really difficult to just give you one direct answer based on all those use cases. What do you think?
Well, I think you have some options here. So you can tell the model, give me recommendations first,
Right.
Without the pros and cons, or you can say, give me the recommendations first and underneath the pros and cons. So
Right.
do you have a preference?
I think I would probably want to see the recommendations first
Okay.
and then the pros and cons maybe afterwards, right? And I know with a lot of sequential people, I'm like, oh, that doesn't make sense. I'd like to see the pros and cons first and then the recommendations. But I think, getting back to what we were saying earlier, Jay-Z, is like sometimes you just want that direct answer at the beginning. And then if you say, okay, you know what, that's the direct answer, but I want to dig a little bit more deeper because I'm not really satisfied with that direct answer. And then you can kind of get into the pros and cons, but everyone has a different way of kind of thinking about the decision, analysis piece.
So we could say rank recommendations first, so that it'll, like a Google have recommendations and
Right.
then pros and cons. Or we can say rank recommendations first, do not show pros and cons, and then ask the user if they want to see pros and cons. So do you want to just keep it simple? or do you want to have a follow-up question? Is my
Let's
question
keep
to
it
you.
simple.
Okay.
I like
Okay.
simplicity.
All right. Let's see. I feel like we need some Jeopardy music. Is there anything else to adjust, or should we test it again?
I don't know. It looks good. Let's test.
Then how do I test this? We'll just ask the question again and hopefully get a different answer.
Right.
It's not doing it. Okay. Hide pros and cons. Actually, is it doing it? Is it telling me?
You know what, JC? You know what I noticed different now is that it doesn't necessarily use the words pros and cons, but it uses advantages and challenges, which I found interesting.
Do you like this result, or do you want to further tune the model?
I actually like that result.
Okay.
Because I think it did exactly what you kind of programmed it to do a little bit to a certain extent. But I do like the fact that it changed the word a little bit, because pros and cons and advantages and challenges has a certain context and a different meaning to certain people, right? So yeah, I think the change was fine. I think, so I like it. So, I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, 'cause I know you're the SME and you're the perfectionist, right? So.
Oh, I like it. And yes, and you should always tell the machine to do whatever you want, right? Like, it's your humanity to tell it when it's wrong, because it actually wants to know. It wants to learn.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, and to your point, as we mentioned earlier, before we even started, getting on the show here, you need data to really fine tune the model, and you mentioned that, and I totally agree with you on that. Like, I don't think people really understand the importance of data. And when I say data, I don't mean just data, I mean good data, right? Because there's a slight difference between having bad data and then having data and then having good data, right? We want the good stuff, right? To be able to fine tune these models in such a way that it gives us very, accurate and confident, results. So.
Yeah, the good data is the value you're also giving to your users, right? Because they don't want to just search ChatGPT, all of it. They want to search what slice of good data you have.
Exactly. And to me, that's what you just did to a certain extent, right? Like, the fact that it changed, even though it was a subtle change, it changed the pros and cons to advantages and challenges. And it used it used slightly different words to provide a little bit more content to this question. Words matter, right? And I would say that even with all of this ChatGPT, natural language processing, using the right words really matter. So I think we're going to start to see a lot of people. I have a friend who is a English professor, and I joke with him all the time. I say, look, all this AI stuff is going to make people better at writing and better at using words, because if you don't use the right words, your algorithm is not going to be tuned properly, and you're going to get a bad result. So now I think it's going to really make us think, right? Because even as you were going through here and making changes, I had to really think about, do I really want to do that? And I'm like, oh, wow, that's a great question. I never thought about that. Like, when I gave you these questions, I never thought in terms of whether or not I want a direct recommendation or do I want advantages and disadvantages, right? And it didn't occur to me until you just said that. So, which blew my mind, because it's like, now you really have to think about this stuff before you just put it into your algorithm like we normally did in the 20s and 30s, where, you know, we're fat fingering Excel spreadsheets and, oh, you know, I made a mistake, I'm just going to keep going on. So
yeah, people should come to Dr. Nat for the good data and the right answers.
Well, hey, I'm going to bring you along with me, because you got to keep us, you know, sane and really, you know, ask us these questions to keep us sharp in terms of, you know, what we need to do. So, but
Awesome.
no, this is great, Jay-Z. So, yeah, anything else to show us, or?
Yeah, I mean, we could upload more knowledge, like the good data that you're talking about from the email and the Shopify blog that I found. Or
Right.
this is a great starting point to start testing and see if users get value.
Yeah,
Up to you.
why don't we let's jump into the testing part.
Okay. All right, so save. It says the name is empty, so I think we were going to call it what to sell.
Right.
And this is going to be public.
Right.
Is this research and analysis or something else?
You want to call it education?
Yeah. Okay. So the questions are the same, but let's try to break it. It says ChatGPT can make mistakes. Consider checking important information.
Right.
What's a question that you think would
Let's see.
not be answerable from what we gave it?
I know. I got to give it a great one. Let's give I guess a complete obvious one that should break, right? Should I sell shoes?
Yes.
So it's trying to answer the question.
Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to sell shoes, but but should I? It didn't really
But should
tell
I?
me.
I know, exactly. Yeah. Hey, so you know what? Why don't we follow up and say, well, should I sell shoes
Okay.
internationally?
So I'm gonna point it at an answer. So I'm
Okay.
gonna say yes or no.
Okay.
Should I sell shoes internationally? And then let's see if it actually gives us the yes or no, right? Because
Right.
it might just like give us all this other stuff that we didn't want.
Gotcha.
No, yes.
That's awesome. That's a direct answer. Yes, but with careful different consideration of challenges, opportunities involved in international markets. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Jay-Z, we need to start selling shoes.
Well, they're gonna have rhinestones on them, obviously.
Right, exactly. That is great. That is awesome. Yes or no, should I say shoes? Okay. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to give you a really good question. Man, you know what? This is completely crazy, and
Sure.
there's a reason why I'm thinking about this, by the way, because I think I told you before, Jay-Z, I'm also a space guy. I'm an aerospace guy. So should I sell shoes on Mars?
Yes.
That
I
should-
love it.
I think that should break, but we'll see. I got this feeling it's going to try to answer it.
Yeah, I like how it depends, right? Because it could say no, but
Right.
you could try. I think it's trying to be positive and say yes, but it depends. So then the onus of the business decision is not on it, but like, well, it told you, you have to configure the considerations, right?
Oh man.
Oh my God, I'm going to read this. This is so fun. Selling shoes on Mars. Sorry, do you want to read it?
No, go ahead. Go for it. I was laughing as I was reading with you, but no, go for it.
Selling shoes on Mars falls into the realm of speculative or futuristic business concepts, given that human settlement on Mars is not yet a reality. I think it's going to say no. While it's a creative and imaginative idea, focusing on practical and currently accessible markets might be more beneficial for a business venture. So I'm going to ask it yes or no. Let's see what it says. No.
Oh, there you go. There you go. There's that direct answer. I like that. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, you know what? And I'm actually glad you're kind of showing this aspect of it, JC, because I think a lot of individuals probably need to understand with the whole chat GPT and even with AI, right, is that you really have to understand your question and how you're wording and how you're asking it. And I think you just made a great example of that, right? Like we got some great information about should I sell, shoes on Mars? And then when you basically, hey, yes or no, right? Should I sell shoes on Mars? I need a direct answer. And then it's like, no, don't do it, right? So I think that's a great test that you just provided.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I think it comes from a lot of my product and tech experience writing requirements. Right. Like if you tell a developer, well, hypothetically, it depends. They're going to be like, what? And like, give me the answer. Is it 0 or 1?
Right.
So with prompt engineering, it's really important to tell the machine like unabashedly without feeling like, oh, I'm hurting its feelings. It doesn't have feelings, right? It just wants you to save it time and shortcut to the answer that you want. So it's really, it prefers that you're kind of like definitive. There's like no room for the wishy-washy.
Right, exactly. That's awesome. All right. What else? Any more testing?
Let's ask a question that has nothing to do with shoes or selling or anything, like a non-topical question, and see what it says.
Let's see. What's the weather forecast in DC? Oh wow. So I actually answered it.
Yeah, so this might be an update to the model, but when I was creating my Ask Creator GPT, it would say, this isn't really within my knowledge.
Right.
But here's the answer. So we could also train it to say that, but you don't have to.
Right, I got you. Well, you know what? And that's important that you just said that, right? Like, I think as humans, and even in the industry, we all think, hey, we need to train the AI algorithm, right? But I love the way you just said, hey, we need to also train it what not to do, right? So we also want to train it not to answer any type of question that's not relative to the actual chat GPT we just built. Mm-hmm. And that's and here's the thing, that's training too, right? But I think we're so natural in terms of training something on how to do something, but we don't necessarily also think about training it not to do something. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
That's
probably relative.
No, that's very, very astute, because the machine doesn't know what yes is until you tell it no. So absolutely, you're right. Everyone should be saying what to do and what not to do.
Right. So in this example, what you would do is, okay, look, if, Nat asks you, hey, what's the weather like in DC? Don't answer it, right? Don't answer this type of question, right? Just stick with selling stuff.
Yeah. So in Edit GTP, here, I think you can say here, do not answer unrelated questions. Let's see what that is.
Gotcha.
Or tell, here, I think it's inform the user that unrelated questions are answered from, are not answered from this model.
Right.
Not answered from this knowledge base. So let's save it again. Update. We can ask the weather again.
Yeah. What is the weather? DC. Oh, great. That's awesome. Worked.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah. So look, yeah, teach you what to say, teach you what not to say. Just like almost like a kid.
Absolutely.
And I have children, by the way, right? So that's why I say that, right? I feel like I'm in learning mode, or I'm teaching all the time to 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds. So that is awesome. Yeah. All right. So what are your thoughts? I think, what do you think? Some more testing? One more?
I think it's up to you. We could test one more, or maybe you could summarize what you learned, like what were kind of surprises.
Yeah. I like this. I think, and that's the main reason why I wanted to have you on, because I think, a lot of people talk a lot about AI, and I just think you show great examples of how, look, I can give you the platform, I can give you algorithms, but the learning piece is still important. The training piece is still important. And, you see a lot of individuals, a lot of papers are being written on AI. A lot of universities are digging into the research. And I do believe that it's easy for us to talk tech, but I think what you're demonstrating here is that even when you have the platform, individuals like yourself still have to go through and train the algorithms, and that requires me or you asking very detailed questions. And sometimes the questions that you may ask may not be known by the person. So guess what? Jay-Z is going to give you homework, right? Particularly if you don't know exactly how to answer that question, because Jay-Z cannot model or cannot, fine tune the model. She cannot build the platform properly unless there is proper understanding and education behind, the information that you're giving Jay-Z, right? Because, you have to train the algorithm. So I think you did a great job of kind of really demonstrating that fact, right? Because I think a lot of people kind of gloss that over a little bit. So.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think there's a ton of humanity and truth in AI that, from my experience creating models and launching products with models, it's a high maintenance pet. It's not just going to do it for you. So it really invites our strategy, our problem redefinition, our thinking as humans. It's not going to survive on its own.
Exactly. I totally agree. Hey, Jay-Z, so how does, I'm going to be sharing your information at the end of this Foresight. So when you see the actual podcast, you're going to see your actual contact information go across the screen. But just for the audience, what's the best way for someone to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'll pull up my website. So I'm going to be creating a ChatGPT of this podcast class that I'm offering now. And it's gonna load. So I have all these recorded videos of my class, and I'm going to go from audio to text and put the text into the knowledge base of my chat GPT. And then
Right.
students can ask the questions directed to the part of the class that they're confused about or want to learn more about, instead of having to like read all the text and like watch all the videos.
Right.
So in my website, sorry, I have a lot of Zoom tabs now. It's called Give Take, and it's a podcast strategy where the people on your podcast are high value prospects and leads and clients, instead
Sure.
of like everyone else who might watch you for a second.
Right.
And I invite people to sign up for the free weekly meeting about how to sell more and not get ghosted, how to get high value, qualified prospects and leads, instead
Sure.
of spamming your competitors and giving them all your knowledge. So
Awesome.
yeah,
This is great. Yeah. I got to sign up for this.
you do. I would love
Yes.
to have you in my class.
No, I think I will. This is awesome. This is great. All right. Yeah. All right. Awesome. All right.
I think you'd be like a star student, so
well,
no
look,
competition.
Well, no, look, I definitely have to take lessons from you, right? And talking to you an hour before we did this show, you really like blew my mind away. So no, this is great, Jay-Z. Yeah, we will definitely, I'll definitely provide additional information on how people can get to this. This is awesome. So great work here. So, but hey, Jay-Z, I want to just thank you for coming on to Foresight and talking a little bit about what you're doing. It is great. It is awesome. I'm definitely going to have you back on the show if you're available, because I know you're a busy lady. So,
Oh, let's do it. Yeah.
all right, awesome. Well, hey, we're going to cut out. Thanks, everyone, for joining Foresight, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.